Hey, everybody, welcome back. It is a new day. It is a new year. We are on the Born Again to Live podcast with Amy and Eric, and it is a thankful Thursday, Eric.
I am thankful that the podcast is working.
Yeah, me too. I'm just thankful that we're having another recording day. It does feel like it's been a year. So I'm just so thankful for season 2. I'm thankful for the listeners. I am feeling very grateful on this day.
Exactly. It's seems like since last year we haven't done this. That old joke, right?
That old joke.
Dad joke of all dad jokes.
Man, did I get my fill of Christmas dad jokes from Eric.
Oh,
wow. They were
yes.
just, I feel like a lot of those were on our last 4, the Lost podcast, as we're going to start to call them. But yeah, you had some pretty good jokes about, I don't know, what was the expensive candy cane one? Go ahead and tell it, Eric.
Oh, I can't remember that one now.
Was it? Why was
because it was mint condition.
It was in mint condition?
Yeah.
But no, I've definitely had my fair share of dad jokes. You know, speaking of things we're leaving behind.
No. You know how many dad joke gifts I got for Christmas? Like so many.
I can imagine.
Kipton got me a dad joke loading cup, or Janelle, one of the two. Yeah, I got dad joke stuff from a lot of people, so it was pretty cool.
Love it. Okay, well, here we are. We are still on New Year's because the Born Again to Live it's all about just walking away from that old grungy past and stepping into a bold, bright, awesome future with Jesus. So on our 3rd podcast of the new year, I think we need to talk about some New Year's goals, Eric.
Let's go for it. I think right now I'm just going to start with next year. Or my goal for this year is to start next year sooner in a podcast.
Okay, so that means next year we're going to start, you mean when we drop the podcast?
Yeah, because we always talking about New Year when we start, but we're like halfway through a month. So let's start sooner.
All right, if you say so.
I don't know. It's just a random thought I had while you're sitting here talking about New Year. I'm like, we're almost to February and we're still in New Year's. We need to start earlier.
I mean, I get it, but that's, to me, it's the charm of this podcast, Eric, because every day is New Year. And, you know, I still go back to when we first started recording in that slightly chilly room and how, yeah, here it was like the 12th or 14th of January when we had no idea what we were doing, but we were talking all about the new year and realizing that this podcast wasn't going to drop for another week or so. But I don't know. It's something that I don't think you can give enough thought to. I feel like, you know, when I was a lot younger, I felt like every day, if not once a month at least, I felt like I had to just reassess my life. You know, am I in the right job? Am I hanging around the right people? Am I dating the right guy? Like whatever it was, I felt like my life was this constant like reassessment phase. And you know, sometimes we just let life happen to us and we don't take enough time to just really sit and think like, do I need to be doing this? Do I need to be focusing on this? Do I even need to be spending my time with this person? And so, I don't know. I love New Year's is one of my favorite holidays of the year for that reason. I'm a big looking back kind of gal. I'm a big, you know me, Eric, I like planning, I like organizing, I like check boxes. So New Year speaks to me. So
we learned yesterday not to look back.
I mean, we can look back on the good things or on the right. We can look back in a rightful way, not in the way that Lot's wife just looked back yearning for that crappy life that God was clearly taking away.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we're going to talk about New Year's goals, even though it might be the January 20-something, 22nd. Okay.
We're only 21 days late, but it's all good.
You know, Eric, I don't need your criticism today, okay? Because, yes, we still have 300, and let me do the math really quick in my head, 344 days to get these New Year's goals done.
To get them right.
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, is it a leap year this year?
I don't know.
All right, I'm going to find out in a minute.
Okay.
But, okay.
All right, so new year, new goals.
It is not a leap year, by the way.
It is not. Okay.
Yes.
So we don't have that many. We only have, whatever.
All right. Well, let's just start on the lighter side of things, Eric. What are some of your, you know, not big super goals, but just what are some things you hope to do this year? Or maybe you're just looking forward to, because I know we've talked about the mission trip at Bigelow.
Yeah, the mission trip. Some of the like bucket list goals that I have are centered around my son.
But that's the bucket list lifestyle, Eric.
That's bucket list, but it's kind of a goal.
Okay.
Like, some of the little things, like just, I mean, I have the goal of being able to figure out how to get my son a car.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little thing, but like to see the joy on his face at that point and stuff, just kind of be cool.
I have a way. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Let's just start collecting parts little by little, eBay, junkyards, whatever. We'll put them all in a big pile in Chris's front yard.
And we have Chris make it.
Yeah, have Chris make it.
He's good at that.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time on his hands, too.
I don't know. There's big goals, there's little goals, but
yeah,
I feel like if I set too many goals, that's all I'm going to be doing. So I try to, I don't know, go back with my goals.
Right. Well, I started, I think this was on me and Shanda's trip last year to the Kentucky Derby. And we, stuff would come up, like she'd be like, oh, I need to put that on my bucket list. And I'm less of a bucket list and more of just I want to do it. Like sometimes the bucket list remains a list, right? Yeah. Whereas a goal, like I put those check boxes and I just fully intend to check them off. So I last year, as me and Shanda are driving out to Louisville, I made my 25 things in 25 that I wanted to do. And of course, I didn't get to any of these, nor did I get to 25 things. But you know what? I'm going to give myself some grace. But there were just, some of them were really small things. Like, we have a kid at Big Blue who once a month, once a quarter, they do bluegrass in his barn.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to go so bad. I want to hear these kids play. I mean, they've played at the Grand Ole Opry. Like, they're that good. And I want to experience this awesome little slice of West Virginia life. So that is on my list. And yes, it's on Saturdays. So I'm going to have to do it on a Big Blue Saturday, unfortunately. But I want to go to the Dunlaps and witness and just experience bluegrass in the barn.
There you go.
All right, what's one of yours? What's one of your little ones?
Oh, man. Put me on the spot. I don't know. My goals are all kind of tied to my bucket list.
Yeah, well, you can share some of those then if you must.
The random road trip that is at the top of every list. Every year I put on my bucket list, I want to do a random road trip with no planning.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell Amy that I can't achieve it because every time I'm like, today is the day I'm going on this random road trip. As soon as I get home, I'm leaving. All day I start planning. So then I fail to go because I've already planned it.
Yeah, it's not random.
So I can't, I'm really struggling with this random, and I don't know how it's going to happen. If somebody's going to show up at my house and be like, let's go. Maybe that's what I need is a partner in crime to be like, we're not got a plan, let's go. I don't know how that one's going to happen, but what's ironic about it, late last year, Kipton's like, Dad, I think it'd be really cool to do a road trip with no planning. And I'm like, there's my kid.
Yeah.
That's my kid.
Oh my gosh. Now let me throw out some suggestions, being your marketing manager and everything. What if you sort of did a big map of West Virginia and then you sort of spun Kipton around like a pin the tail on the donkey, and he kind of walks to the map, sticks a pin in it wherever it goes. And maybe we could expand out of it could be like West Virginia, Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, kind of. So it's like a day trip, right? But wherever he puts that little pin, you go there, even if there's nothing there but like a sheets and a laundromat or whatever. But that could be kind of fun.
It could be fun.
Or if you really want to be random, you could also, I'm just thinking of ways to randomize this. You could also just write some places that you've heard from other people are interesting. Yeah. Or even if you pull up an article like, great places to go in, the Mid-Atlantic or whatever, put them in a jar, shake it up and pull one out. That's pretty random. I don't know how much more random you can get than that. So
when I was married, we talked about having the kids given each a map of the state of West Virginia and teaching them to read a map, and they actually guide the trip.
Oh my gosh, that'd be hilarious.
Like one of the kids guide us to a place and the other kid has to guide us back, telling us what roads and how to get there and everything.
I love that.
That'd be pretty cool to see a kid read a map these days.
That's a great one. That would be funny. Yeah, you're gonna end up in top part of Canada and be like, how did I get here?
Or on some road that's like, you do not want to go on this road, but go anyway.
Yes. something tells me you'll end up popping those tires on those rental car things. You know, like you try to back up and that is how that road trip's going to end. But all right. Well, one other thing, it's not as, you know, and it's funny. I say the bluegrass in the barn like it's an easy thing to do, but like I've literally been trying for 2 years to make this happen. It's not as easy as one would think because it's every so often, and I usually find out after the fact, like when it was. So, man, I got to make this happen. If there's a Dunlap out there listening, tell me when the next one is.
We need to get Max. He's the gatekeeper.
I mean, he really is. Like, Max, we need your help on this one. But no, my other kind of bigger, since you're on the subject of road trips, Eric, I really want to go to the Atlanta Aquarium and see that whale shark. Like, I am obsessed with polka dotted sea creatures, but yeah, whale sharks are just, to me, they're the most majestic, huge, gentle, giant beast in all of God's creation. And I just want to stand there for hours and snacking, of course, on gummies and chips and sodas, but like just watch that thing swim around for hours and hours. So that is kind of one of my bigger, smaller goals for 2026.
That one's on my bucket list. That's not going to lie. That's on my bucket list of seeing things in life in general. And not for me. I mean, I love aquariums. I love to see those things. And to see a whale shark, that massive animal, is going to be cool. But to see my son see it, because he wanted to be a marine biologist for a lot of his life, and to just see the enjoyment and the shock and awe of that is going to be cool on his face.
Oh, yeah. All right, so let's see. Where are we going from here, Eric?
Well, how about why do we do goals?
That's a great question.
Why? I think it's important to do goals. And I mean, personally, I think if you don't set goals, then you kind of just bumping through life like a ping pong ball.
Yeah.
Or a pinball machine. Like, you just don't have control.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think that's organization and goals are what keep me focused. Like, I don't think we can do all that we do for other people and for the Lord and for our families if we don't have that sense of structure. Like, you should be getting up every day being like, why am I doing what I'm doing? And so those goals kind of help you to very clearly focus in on what's important, not just to you, but to others.
Even when we took our break from the podcast, my house was in disarray. I had boxes everywhere, and I had to take Kipton, and he was gone for 14 days from me. And before he left, I said, when you get home, this mess will be gone. That's a goal.
Yeah, that is a goal.
And I told him that. And so my first Monday, we didn't record. I did like a massive amount of work. I cleaned out entire rooms, and like everything was gone. And I felt like, man, I did that. Like, I did what I said I was going to do. When he came back, it was gone.
Yeah.
And like, I set a goal and I achieved it. So it feels so good to do stuff like that.
It does. Absolutely. Sometimes when I do something, Eric, I'll write it on my to-do list just so I could cross it off because I already did it. And I'm a little crazy like that. But no, you do have on here podcast goals. Okay, so I have 2.
Okay.
Do you want to hear them?
Yes.
Okay. So I have said this before, but I want more testimonies. Like, it has been awesome doing the Blues Day Tuesdays as we interview core team members and even, kids that have come through Big Blue and alumni and all that stuff. And so I definitely want to continue the Blues Day Tuesday tradition. But just in general, from our listeners, from anyone that has a testimony that they want to share, because everyone's testimony matters. And I think everyone comes from a different place. And so to hear, what brought them closer to God and what they overcame, it just never gets old. And so Jen, if you're listening, I'd love to hear your testimony. Trevor, I know I talked about your story, but I'd love for him to get on the podcast. So I want to hear just more testimonies. And then my second one almost kind of goes back into our previous goals. I'd love to take the podcast on the road. And just do some broadcasts from somewhere completely different, whether it's the Bible Museum in D.C., whether it's Massanutten, like at top of a mountain, somewhere like that. I know we need internet access in order to utilize the software, but that way we have that road trip time to kind of talk and debrief our lives before we sit down and podcast. Because, guys, when we don't see each other for a whole month, we got a lot to talk about. And Yeah, this morning we had a lot to just say before we were ever ready to roll the mic.
Yeah, we say let's meet at 10, and at 11 we were like, all right, we should start recording.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So anyway, those are just two of the things I want to see happen for the podcast.
I kind of want to see more interviews. So along the line of the testimonies, I like the interview days. I think those are, and just anybody who wants to be on here, like it's not mine. It's God's platform. So if you have something to say, let's do it. Like I'm willing to interview people. I still go back to the Seth Addison. Like I love that simple interview. Like, so if there's other people in our community that we just need to get them on here or whatever, like let's go.
Yeah, I agree. Everybody's story is special.
Yeah.
And, everyone has that very unique life that God called them to. And I think that's, we're used to hearing on these larger platforms, these more famous people with their testimonies. But like, I just love the fact that somebody I personally know, I like to hear what they have to say and what they have been through. And boy, did I learn a lot about my fellow core team family by doing the Blues Day Tuesdays. And, listeners, I had told Eric after our Big Blue on Saturday night, I said, Eric, I would love it if we could let the kids listen to some of the, maybe not the entire podcast where we interview core team members, but maybe just that part where they give their story, because they need to understand this is why I'm here. This is why April's here. This is why Christine's here. This is why Shanda's here. Like, this is where we came from and how God changed us to who we are today. And I think it would be important for the kids to know us, those of us in the room, just to get to know us better. So I thought that'd be kind of a cool thing to share with the kids.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. And as far as growth of the podcast, I tend to try to set goals for growth, but I don't think I need to. I think that's a God thing.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's one of my goals for the podcast is to stop trying to grow the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, just let God be God. Let him cook, right? Like, I check all the time, like, how many listens do we got? How many people were listening last week? How many people liked this episode? All these things. And like, maybe I don't need to. Maybe we need to tell you, hey, we have a podcast and it's on all these platforms. And I would love for you to subscribe and share and do all that stuff. But if you don't, that's okay. Let God lead your heart, not me.
Yeah. That's a great goal, Eric. Like it's a non-goal goal.
It's a non-goal goal.
Like your road trip, your non-plan, your random road trip, and your non-goal goal.
Yeah.
I like the chaos that we're jumping into this year.
Eric's chaos.
But okay, let's go to the ultimate word on order, which is God's word. Should we read a little scripture here?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. For when I think about goals, I do think about this sort of parable, or it's Jesus speaking, and it is more about discipleship. But as we've mentioned before, even like with the story of Lot's wife, like there's so many layers to every single thing that is spoken in God's word. And but I think about this one a lot because it applies to so many areas of our lives, not just the cost of being a Christian.
But this will lead us into Eric's steps to achieving goals.
It sure will. Okay, so this is from Luke 14, verse 28 and 20 through 30. And this is our Lord Jesus speaking. He says, "Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? For if you lay the foundation and are not able to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule you, saying, 'This person began to build and wasn't able to finish.'"
Yeah.
There's so much there, like, especially that halfway built tower.
Yeah.
Right? That's that thing we can hide from a lot of things, but we start to build something, towers are tall, everyone can see them from miles away. And when you just stare over at that halfway built tower, there's no hiding nothing, right?
Yeah. But that doesn't mean don't go for your goals. Because if you do come up short, it's okay sometimes. That's the way I look at it. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, but it is Jesus saying, like, we don't just jump into something like kind of willy-nilly. We do have to make our goals. We do have to have that heart. Ask God, like, is this what you have for me, right?
Well, if I want to go on my random road trip,
yes,
I can't have zero money and
Very
think,
true.
All right, we're going to go to Rhode Island today. Well, how am I going to pay for gas?
Mm-hmm.
You got to sit down and know the cost of, yeah, I have enough extra money that I can make this random thing happen. Now let's draw the name out of that fishbowl.
Right.
I mean, that's where I wasn't making joke of but at the same time, yes, you have to know that I have everything that's equipped to do this goal. Now let's go achieve it, because you don't want to get halfway to Harrisonburg to go to Buc-ee's or wherever, and you'd be like, I'm out of gas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you failed, and everybody who passes you on the highway is going to be like, why didn't you plan better?
Right.
So, right. I mean, that's what Jesus is saying here, I think, is, we got to know up front, can I do what I'm being asked to do?
Well, I think when it comes to doing God's work, it matters a lot, because if you're going around saying, well, God told me I needed to put, Bibles in every kid's hand or in these little libraries or whatever, and then you get 2 months into the year and you're like, well, I don't have any more money to do Bibles, that makes God look bad. To the outsider, to the unbeliever, they're going to, because this is what I've learned about unbelievers is, man, they will take anything and try to make it like, well, God failed you. God doesn't exist. Like, they will use anything in their power to do that. And so, to an unbeliever, or it's really more those seekers, I think, that we can really harm the most. They might be led astray by someone saying, well, if God really wanted it to happen, it's not happening. Clearly, God can't do it, or he's not real. Yeah. So we have to be careful that, our God dreams are also backed up with, just discipline. Like, the Bible talks a lot about discipline. There's definitely that trust component, which is so hard for all of us. There's that trust, there's that timing, that patience, but then there is that discipline. If God called you to do something, then you got to put your shoes on and walk out the door. And, so I always have, on the topic of discipline, though, I always have sort of these health goals for myself, because I know that God called me to work with kids, and they're a lot to keep up with, Eric. So it's like, I got to keep myself healthy in order to stay, relevant and keep up with these kids. So like, that is that thing that God's like, come on, Amy, that's on you. Like, I am the great healer, but you might need to do some stretches before you do that hike, sister.
You don't know if you have to push a kid up a mountain.
You never know. I mean, I can't wait for hike night.
All right. So as we wrap this up, I had some ways to achieve your goals, basically. It was my, God-given epiphany on what you need to do. But what was funny about it, I came up with this list, and then I listened to Craig Groeschel's, and there's a guy, one of his associate pastors was preaching on this same topic of how to achieve your goals. And I told Amy that he had a phrase that really stuck with me, and it's just more days than not.
Yes.
And so the story behind more days than not is, he said, every believer pretty much says, I'm going to read the Bible this year. And that's a great goal. We're not telling you don't do that goal, but he said most people fail. The second Friday of January is known as Quitter's Day. It's when everybody quits their New Year's resolutions. By that point, everybody's just gives up and they walk away. So he was talking about the survey that they did. I think it was 100 or 300,000. I couldn't remember the exact number, but it was a lot of people. And they subjected them to a study where they read the Bible 1 day a week, 2 days a week, 3 days a week, and so on. And he said there was no visible change in their attitude, life function, or anything if they read the Bible 1, 2, or 3 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
But it was when they got that fourth day that it made a difference.
Wow.
And so his theory was more days than not. So if you read the Bible more days than you don't, it'll make a difference in your life. Don't set the goal to, I'm going to read the Bible every day, but I'm going to read it more days this year than I don't.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is 4 days a week to do that and achieve that, because then you only got 3 days you don't. I loved his goal. I loved the way he presented that. And so I came up with 4 ways to achieve goals. First one was be intentional.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to write down your goals. You have to understand your goals. You have to know what you're trying to get to. You can't just set an arbitrary goal of, I want to make money this year.
Yeah.
Set a goal. Write down, I'm going to make $200,000 doing this. Like, that's your goal, okay?
Yeah.
Then how do I get there?
Yep.
You have to have an intentional path to where you're going to be. Again, with the Bible, if you read it more days than not, you're going to get to your goal.
That's it.
being active. You can't make a goal and then just, I'm going to wait on God to give me money.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's not going to work. You're not going to read your Bible through putting it under your pillow. You're going to have to open that Bible up.
Yeah.
You're going to have to open up the Bible app. You're going to have to do a lot of different things. But you can't just sit back and wait on it to just happen for you. You got to be active enough to go get it.
Mm-hmm.
And be proactive. That's step 3. You can't just, I don't know. How would you describe proactive in a situation like those two?
I mean, being proactive it's about setting yourself up for success.
Yeah.
It's about saying, okay, I've made this goal, whether it's to make more money, whether it's to read the Bible more. And it's about like, okay, how can I, maybe I've already read the Bible today, like, but how can I set myself up for future success? And so it's about putting things in place. So like, for instance, it's hard to walk into a chaotic room and feel the peace of God. So maybe it's like, okay, every day when I get home from work or in the morning when I have the most energy, I'm going to make sure that this little corner of my room where I read my Bible is clean, right? Maybe it's that. Maybe it's, I always waste 20 minutes a day packing my lunch in the morning for work. What if I do that the night before and then I have that extra 20 minutes in the morning to read my Bible? So being proactive is just setting these processes and these things in place that help you succeed.
Jay, he does the John Maxwell 6 things for 15 minutes a day to be successful.
Yeah.
And you keep track of them in a journal. And every day you do these 6 things. And I went through them last year.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones that got me were like, if you're going to do your spirituality stuff and you're going to read your Bible or you're going to read an article on something to educate yourself on a topic you don't know about, he said you got to be intentional with that. So if I'm going to do this in the morning and I'm going to read this article, and you research it the night before and you put it on your computer, and then you close your computer with that article up, and you open your Bible to the page where you're going to start the next morning, and you have it out and you're ready. And so all you have to do is sit down and start.
Yeah.
You don't have to think about where you're going to go. That's being proactive. That's being ready for the moment.
Absolutely.
And even having your journal drawn out or written out so that you have your checklist of, did I do that this day? Did I walk? And if you're going to go walking and you're going to listen to music, have your stuff charged, have everything ready. So you don't have an excuse to say, well, I can't do it today. I can't do that. My shoes are dirty or whatever. Be proactive enough to set yourself up to succeed.
Yeah. I showed this to you, Eric, but like one of my favorite little Christmas gifts this year was that gravity timer. And my sister gave it to me. It's a cute little cube, but it has like 5, 10, 30, and 60 on the outside of the cube. And it's designed to do like tackle big things, but in small ways. And so if you flip that one with, say, the 30 on top, the timer automatically puts up 30 minutes and counts it down. So if it's a job that's going to take you hours and hours, we don't always have hours and hours, but I got 30 minutes, so I'm going to give this 30 minutes today. And then tomorrow I'm going to give it another 30 or maybe just 10 or whatever. But just sometimes biting off those big projects in little tiny chunks, that's what keeps you moving forward, to your point, Eric. Not just, sometimes we are completely just halted because of the enormity of what's ahead of us. And you just have to one step at a time. Or I don't know how that expression about eating an elephant came about, but yeah, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Yeah.
That's what we got to do, is just one little bite at a time, guys.
And my last step for achieving goals is, if you miss, don't stop. And that goes back to the whole more days than not.
Yeah.
I mean, if my plan is to read the Bible every day, and this week is chaotic, hectic, and I missed the entire week, most people just quit. They stop.
Yeah.
Well, if your goal is to do more days than not, all right, so you missed 4 days this week, not 7.
Yeah.
So next week, maybe do 5, and the next week 5, and the next week 5, and the next week 5, and you're caught up.
Yeah.
You're back to more days than not. And so it's something simple as just don't quit if you miss. Every day is anew. So with goals are the same thing. I may screw up, and I've got ways of saving money in my life right now. And one of them is a little book that every month you save 50, 100, how much ever a week.
Yeah.
And if you miss a week, you can't just clear it all out from the last 4 months and walk away. You have to keep with your goal.
Yeah.
And at the end of the year, if your goal was to save $2,500 in these envelopes, and you have $2,400, did you really miss your goal?
Exactly.
You still save way more money than you would have if you just quit halfway through the year because you missed in June.
That's right.
So don't stop. Just get back on the horse and keep going, because I think that's where we're going to achieve our goal. Is it's going to change the way you're looking at that thing. And that's what a goal ultimately is if I set a goal to read the Bible, it's to improve myself.
Right.
Well, at the end of the year, if I've read it more days than not, I'm going to improve myself.
Yeah, you're keeping it in the forefront of your mind. That's what a goal does. But then at the same time, failing at that goal, it just ladles on more guilt, and I'm a loser and I can't do anything. So like, to your point, Eric, let's push through. Like, don't quit, even if you had a bad week or a bad month or whatever. But as you were speaking, I thought about this. Like, yes, the goal is more days than not, but maybe you can start off with more days than none.
Yeah.
Because if you've never done this goal, even if you don't hit the 4 days, if you only hit the 1 day, well, it's better than nothing.
Yep.
So the more days than none, and then you're going to work yourself up to the more days than not.
I heard a guy talk one time about everybody's goal is to go to the gym. And said, my goal is to get in the car and drive to the gym.
Right.
The next day, my goal is to go into the gym and sign up for a membership. And the next day, it is to go in and figure out where the locker room is. And the next day, it's to do one exercise. Because if your goal is to go to the gym and you go to the gym and you work out as hard as you can, and you've never done it before, you're going to be so sore the next day, you're not going to go to the gym.
Right.
So ease into it. Don't just jump full-fledged into like, I'm going to read 6 chapters today in the Bible. Well, you're not going to get through.
Yeah.
Read a verse. Start small, people.
Yeah.
But I loved his idea of like, my goal is to get in the car.
Yes.
Literally get in the car today. That's my goal. Like, get out of bed. It's so like, even if your goal is to get up early in the morning and read the Bible, set the alarm clock.
Yeah.
Set the alarm clock.
That's being proactive, Eric.
That is. But just don't quit, people. It started last 21 days ago.
Yeah, New Year's.
Was the new year. But you're still not too late to start. Any point in time, you can start a goal. You can achieve a goal. My goals switch all the time. Like, I didn't have a podcast on my agenda ever. And then God gave me a podcast. I didn't have the Fallout Shelter as a goal. This year, I had to set goals for the Fallout Shelter because that's what God gave me.
Yeah.
So your goals can change all the time. He can throw new things in your life that you got to go, I'm going to achieve this with this. So.
Yeah. Well, I just thought about this, Eric, and I don't know if I've ever shared this online, but like the very first day when we sat down to record, and again, I was just along for the ride. And I didn't realize that you had planned this to be like 5 episodes a week. I'm like, wait, what? Like, I thought it was just going to be like, I have several podcasts I listen to that they just drop every so often when they can, when they want to, when they feel like it. And I'm like, wait, what? This is like a super disciplined 5 days a week. Like, I was shocked at that first recording session, right? But you're right. Like, we really had to carve out the time, make the time to do this thing. And, again, I couldn't be more grateful for all those Mondays, mostly Mondays that we have our recording time. But
where we're proactive and where we were doing our due diligence on this goal of 5 days a week, if Amy and I got together and it was a train wreck of a day and we were like, we were going to do 10 episodes today, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to meet on Saturday.
Yep.
We don't have Monday. Eric's busy on we don't have Monday. Eric's busy on Monday. Amy's busy on Monday. We can't do that. We're going to get together on a random Friday night at Eric's house because that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, you can't just let a little failure stop you.
Right. And especially when God's put it on your heart, like, it just becomes so much more than a goal. Like, it becomes a dream. And we don't chase dreams because chasing implies that you're just always running after it. Like, no, we catch our dreams.
And the devil's distraction is exactly what he wants to do. So if you have a goal of more days than not, he's going to distract you. He's going to do whatever it takes to deter you. The devil's D's, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's terrible about it. So just stick to that more days than none or more days than not.
And if you're on our Facebook page, which, Eric, we're 3 days in? We do have a Facebook page called Born Again to Live the Podcast. You can message us. You can, hit us up. That's how you get in touch with us. But share with us one of your goals for the upcoming year. We'd love to hear about them, whether they're small, whether they're silly to you or to anyone else. Like, we just want to hear about your goals.
All right. So we got long today, but our goal will be shorter tomorrow.
We'll see, Eric. We'll see.
All right. See y'all tomorrow.
Bye.